We got now on Harold the H. Ark.
Can I have a go?
Ark. Yeah, okay. Ark. Yeah, Harold H.P. Cockadoodle-Doo, and he's on assignment. He's at a historic site, and this is interesting. Good morning, Harold.
Yes, good morning, Danny. I'm on a historic site. It's a little bit windy, so hopefully you can hear me, but the wind is part of the atmosphere. It's good for radio.
It is. Well, go tell us about it.
Yeah, well, as you know, Major Lockyer and this brig Amity, they were central to the founding of Ipswich district. And so that's why I've travelled over here to Western Australia, to a city that could easily be Ipswich's twin. Now, starting with the Amity brig. Now, the Amity brought the first settlers to Queensland, which was the original Moreton Bay settlement at Redcliffe. Now, that was in September 1824. So it's over 201 years ago. Now, there were about 70 people, including soldiers, and 29 convicts. The Amity today is etched into our subconsciousness forever. And that's through townships of Amity and Amity Point on North Stradbroke Island. Yeah. There's 6 streets in Brisbane named Amity, and another 2 on the Sunshine Coast. There's Amity Park, Amity Recreation Reserve, and Amity Point Reserve. Ipswich's very own Thomas Wellesby. And Danny, you know him because he's one of the founders of rugby in Queensland.
Wellesby Cup,
as well as Australian Rules in Queensland, the Royal Queensland Yacht Squadron and the Royal Historical Society of Queensland.
Wow.
So Thomas Wellesby, he even named one of his homes after the brig Amity. Wow. And now, I'll tell you about Major Edmund Lockyer. Now, he was a British soldier and an early Australian explorer, and no relation to Darren Lockyer, by the way. Now, Major Lockyer was instructed by the New South Wales Governor, Sir Thomas Brisbane, to go to the new Moreton Bay colony and lead an expedition to explore the upper reaches of the Brisbane River. And so in September 1825, Lockyer sailed from Sydney, arrived at would become Brisbane, and then travelled in a small boat up the river. Now, he travelled about 150 miles upstream, and that's twice as far as John Oxley had reached the year before.
Wow.
Now, this is where it gets important. You see, Lockyer saw coal deposits on the banks of the river. Specifically, this was around the junction of Brisbane and Bremer rivers in the vicinity of Redbank Plains, Goodna, which, of course, is near the present-day Ipswich. Now, this was the first recorded identification of coal in Queensland. So it's a really important find that was central to the establishment and survival of Ipswich and Queensland itself.
Wow.
Now, Major Lockyer, he was the first person to discover coal in Queensland, and that's massive. And to tell you how massive that is, Ipswich coal mining began in 1843 and continues until 2019. Now, by the early 1900s, Ipswich produced 80% of Queensland's coal and employed over 1,000 workers. Now, all up, around 140 million tonnes was mined at a cumulative value of upwards of $5 billion.
Wow.
So that was really important to Ipswich and, of course, Queensland. Now, today, after Major Lockyer, there's a Lockyer Creek, a Lockyer Valley, and Lockyer Valley Regional Council and more, all named after Major Lockyer. And trust me, it's not Darren Lockyer. Now, Major Lockyer, he didn't stop there, which is why I've come 4,000 kilometres across the country from Ipswich to Albany in Western Australia. And that's because Major Lockyer is commemorated here as well. Now, that's because in 1826, Lockyer led an expedition to claim Western Australia for the King. He sailed on Queensland's own brig Amity, the very same ship, arriving at King George Sound, which is now Albany, on the 25th of December that year, with 20 soldiers and 23 convicts. Now, this was the beginning of the first settlement in Western Australia. And on the 21st January, 1827, the flag was raised and a celebratory rifle salute fired by the troops. Now, today there's a suburb in Albany called Lockyer and a plaque on the original 1888 Albany Town Hall and more commemorating our Major Lockyer. So not only was Major Lockyer instrumental in establishing both Ipswich and Queensland with the discovery of coal, he also founded Albany and Western Australia. In addition to that, the brig Amity that brought the first soldiers and convicts to Queensland in 1824, 2 years later, it did the same for Western Australia. And to commemorate that, there's actually a full-size replica of the Amity right here in Albany overlooking the Princess Royal Harbour. And Danny, that's where I'm calling you from now. I'm standing right here beside the Amity, that critical ship to both Queensland and Western Australia, and of course our Major Lockyer. So it's fascinating that 4,000 kilometres apart in Western Australia is a massive piece of Ipswich and Queensland's history for us to track down.
And you're on assignment over there. Has that been approved by the board? But he goes all the way.
Well, I'm still waiting for Sparky to get back to me, but he said it'd be okay.
Yeah, well, mate.
I think we got our wires crossed somewhere, Harold.
Now, mate, that was a great yarn. And when are you coming back?
I'm coming back. Look, I'll come back tomorrow because there's stuff that I want to track down closer to home to tell you about next week.
Oh, you're unbelievable.
So I'm back tomorrow. This is a flying visit. I really had
you
to
should be doing a show on TV.
And Major Lockyer.
You know, the Outback truckers, we've got the gem and then the crystal miners. You should be doing. Harold, imagine coming on, crossing to 7, mate. Harold the H, P, Cock-a-doodle-doos program.
Oh, imagine you'd be introducing me, Danny, and of course the whole West Bremer radio team with that arc. You can't beat that.
You can't beat it. Now you know what we got up next is all about the Summer Surf Girl Beauty Pageant, which no longer exists, thanks to Courier Sunday Mail journalist Jane Keir. What was that? Was that a magpie in the background then?
Yeah, look, like I say, I'm out here next to Amity, and it's the bush. It's a beautiful setting here at Albany. So if anyone's over in WA, you got to come down south and check it out.
There he is, Harold the H, cock-a-doodle-doo. And he's Harold Peacock. He's one of the best. At 8:18 coming up, Jane is next.